Should we have a little look at an auction? How about RM Sotheby's Paris? Let's do it. RM have got their big Paris auction, their Europe headlining auction at the end of the month. There are some heavy hitting lots in here. 77 motor cars are on offer. Average vehicle value, 1.2 million euros. That's an almost 100 million euro strong catalogue, all going under the hammer, all in one night. Let's jump into the lots and see if anything takes your fancy. Right, lot 118 is a Series 1 3.8 Roadster project. Obviously, as you can see, in need of a bit of love and attention. This car was offered and is offered directly from Jaguar Classic themselves. You can see the inside of their facility here. Amazing place if you ever get a chance to look around it. There was another car in this auction, lot 119, that was also offered by them. That's since been withdrawn. This car is offered at 30 to 60,000. It's going to need a lot of work. A good one of these is in the region of 80, 90,000 if I come across here. When you think about it, that ain't going to leave you much money once you've bought this with fees to go and do all that work. Perhaps you're better off just buying one of these directly. It's already done and already sorted for you. Lot 120 is a 1989 V8 Vantage Volante with the all-important X-Pack left-hand drive car. This has an upgraded engine as part of the X-Pack. Upgrades, they were normally 370, 380 horsepower. Goes up to over 400. They're also far rarer than the standard cars. They only made 167 of these, and it's had big money spent on it, £140,000 in recent years. For someone, that would be a very nice buy. Lot 121 is an M3 Sport Evo. It's up for 190 to 240,000. 53 kilometers on the clock. 190 to 240 is top end for a car like this. I suspect we'll see it towards the lower end of that estimate. Right, this Ferrari FF, lot 122. 220 to 320. What is going on here? Well, John Elkann is going on here. Head honcho at Ferrari and Stellantis more broadly, he's actually been in a bit of the news recently for some inheritance-related fun, shall we say. He made a load of upgrades to this car as part of his ownership. We've actually seen it sell recently, very recently. Collecting Cars sold it last year, and they sold it for 207,000 euros, as you can see here. Comes to auction with our estimate of 220 to 320. It'd be a very good test of the difference between the online and live auction market, how this car performs. My suspicion is this will be towards the lower end of that estimate range, but let's see. Either way, John Elkann's FF is a cool thing. Let's keep rolling. 124 280 SL Pagoda, well-travelled Pagoda, comes with a hard top. 120 to 140 is towards the top end of what we would be expecting on a car like this. SLS AMG Roadster. There's a bunch of Mercedes in this collection as well. All of them are or the vast majority are fairly low mileage. This one has 3,800 miles on the clock. Most of them are 100 to 150,000 euros for one of these. You're paying the premium there because of that mileage. Question is, will people be willing to pay that premium? Following up at lot 126 is this SLS Coupe. 210 to 260 on this. Again, low mileage, 3,700s. Again, you're paying the premium for the mileage. Lot 127 SLR McLaren Roadster. These have been talked about for so long that they are going to rocket in value, and it hasn't really happened to date. There's a certain few people in America that are buying up multitudes of these SLRs and banking that they're going to rise in value. I personally don't buy the case that people make of why these will rise in value. Time will tell. This one comes with the tailbone wheels, which lots did from factory, 330 to 430 on this. Lot 128, 300 SL Roadster up at 1.2 to 1.5. I think the interesting debate here is, for a little bit extra money, would you rather look at lot 129 instead? Get the Gullwing for another few £100,000. Take that Gullwing and bring it back to factory spec. It was originally sort of a white grey colour from new, this car. It's gone to a very, very standard silver over red. It's just like a boring Gullwing colour. Take it back to the original. It's also got reproduction Rudge wheels. The original wheels, where fitted from factory, can add 6 figures onto the price of the car. If you had all the money in the world, all the resources, get it back to factory spec, get the original Rudge wheels back on, and get it back to how it was, would be my words of wisdom. Lot 130, another SLR McLaren 260 to 320 on this, 13,000 miles on the clock, just above average price for that one. Lot 131 is this SLR McLaren Sterling Moss, up at 2.75 to 3.25. Uber rare thing, this. They made 75 of them overall. It was used to commemorate the 1955 Mille Miglia win for Sterling Moss and Jenks in their 300 SLR. Probably, or it is the most valuable car in the world if that ever came to auction, but it's highly unlikely to ever do so. Most of the sales we've seen here have sort of been between 3 and 3.4 million in the last couple of years. This is estimated towards the lower end / middle of that range. It feels fairly cheap. Once you add fees in, it's probably about where it should be. Cool. Lot 132 is a 1974 Beta Coupe Group 4. It's up for 80 to 120,000 here. Now, again, we've seen this car sell before. RM sold this back in 2024, and they sold this very car for 80,000 euros. Almost 2 years on, it comes to market again. Estimate is 80 to 120,000. The market, as we all know, has softened since 2024. It feels like the lower end of the estimate of that would still be a good result. If it gets to £100,000, 100,000 euros rather, I will be a very surprised man. Lot 133 is a 360 Challenge. They made less than 300 of these from factory. Estimate here is 80 to 120,000. World record on these sits just over 100,000 euros. If it can hit the middle of that estimate, after fees included, it will be a new world record price. Lot 134, this is a cool thing. The Pantera Group 4. We've never seen a Group 4 Pantera sold before. It's up at 3 to 350. Lot 135 is a 3500 GT Spider by Vignale. I got taken out in a coupe version of these, or coupe version of these, back probably 2 years ago by a very nice chap who also owns a 25th anniversary Countach. And I've never felt more class being in a car. These are absolutely stunning. I adore them, but the market has really, really softened on them in recent years. If we come down here, we can see in late 2010s, even towards sort of middle of 2022, they were transacting 800,000 at the top of the market. Prices have really softened in the past couple of years. This estimate from RM is very, very reasonable. Indeed, it is almost the lowest price we have seen for any of these cars to sell in recent years. It feels very fair. Perhaps they're enticing people in with that one. Lot 136 is 1997 Ferrari F1 car. Schumacher and Irvine history in period. It hasn't got the strongest race history and performances itself, but F1 cars are on an absolute tear. At the moment, it's up at 5.5 to 7.5 million euros. World record money for that. Lot 137 is this 930 turbo cab. 200 to 300 on this. It's very strong money. Most of these are 100, 200,000. This is estimated at 2-3 times fees. Let's see. Lot 138 is this 2002 McLaren MP4 17A. How good was this livery? There's good names attached for this. Raikkonen, Coulthard. Coulthard actually won his final ever Grand Prix in this guy. I believe it was 2003 in Australia. It's up for 1.1 to 1.4 million euros. The big flag is it's going to need a lot of love before getting this up and running. There's an interesting line at the bottom of the description. If I come down here, and it says, interested parties are strongly recommended to inquire for an indication as to the extent of the works that could be required. Get your checkbook out, in other words. Lot 139 GT3 Cup is up for 150 to 250,000 euros. World record money for one of those. Next, we have this. Possibly the most beautiful Ferrari ever made. Closely tied from the other 250 Testarossa with pontoon vendors. 12 to 14 million euros on this Cali Spider. Now, that may sound a lot, but in Cali Spider worlds, that's actually fairly reasonable. Covered headlight example, the covered headlight cars are so much more desirable than their non-covered headlight counterparts. What have we got price-wise? The last 3 covered headlight examples, which are all of these 3 here, have all sold for 15, 16 million euros. This example was not with the covered headlights, and you can see a massive price delta between those 2. RM estimating this car at 12 to 14 feels very, very reasonable, given where these previous cars have transacted at. Lot 141, this 812 GTS, 430 to 480. Sue me, but I actually like the spec. It's bang on the money compared to prior examples that we've seen sell. This 488 Spider, 3,000 miles on the clock, 250 to 300,000. Tailor-made 488, VAT payable in this car. It's just above average, but not out of the realms of possibility whatsoever. Lot 143, this SA Aperta, 9 to 1.2 million. It's about bang on average. Most of the sales we've seen recently, I think all 7 of the most recent sales have been over 1 million euros for one of these. I wouldn't be surprised if that continues that pattern at all. Lot 144, BMW 327 Sport Cab. Excuse me. This car is very, very reasonably estimated. 90 to 140 on this example. When I come in here, I can go down and I can look at a previously sold example, which is there for a 327 Sport Cab. It's also here for a 327 Sport Cab. Bonham sold this car last year for 200,000 euros. Makes the estimate on this at 90 to 140 look very reasonable indeed. This is blooming cool as well. Lot 145, Porsche 962. 800 to 1 million. The thing to shout about on this car, though, is it is road registered. I'm not sure there's many more exhilarating cars to go and drive on the road than one of these. If you had €1 million, drive it on the track, drive it on the road. It's pretty much a daily driver at this point. Lot 146, M3 CSL. What do we think on this? There's a warning in the description around the odometer reading and being slightly inaccurate. I'm sure with a bit of digging you get to the bottom of that. It's about on the money at 100,000 euros for this. What is going to be a trickier sell are these next couple of lots. Lot 147, a 330 GT 2+2 Series 1 here, 150 to 180. Now, if the car was running in a reasonable order, that wouldn't be too bad. However, this car is in need of recommissioning. And when you look back and you think, okay, well, how much would it be just to buy a running version of this car? It's not going to be the prettiest. This car sold for 159,000 euros last year. Left-hand drive, EU registered, and it's on the button, ready to go. So you could have bought that at 159, but this is a 150 to 180. I think that'd be a really tricky sell. I think the 148, the 250 GT at 200 to 250 will be equally tricky to go and shift at that price. Lot 149 is an XK150S drophead coupe. The main thing to note here is this car was converted from right-hand drive to left-hand drive. At that estimate, would have been fair about 5 years ago. It feels very punchy now. Lower end of the estimate for sure on this. Lot 150 Miura SV, 3.3 to 3.6 million euros. The price appreciation these have seen is phenomenal. I'll come down here to the price chart. What have we got? 2010, 600,000 euros you could have bought one of these for. Now we're heading towards 4 million. RM's estimate at 3.3 to 3.6 is very reasonable. I think this will happily make that all day long. Lot 151, this Talbot Lago T26. Amazing history on this car. Third time Le Mans entrant. It came second at Le Mans. And when people often say second or first, they mean first in class. This is overall. Second overall at Le Mans. You could do so many events in this car. If you've got €1 million to spend, you can have a hell of a lot of fun. Lot 152, 250 GT by Boano, 650 to 750. It's about right. It's probably a little bit toppy just above average according to our price insights. 153, this Hispano Suiza we've never seen sell before. 175 to 250 RM have got it up at. Lot 154 is this Volkswagen Beetle, 13 to 16,000 euros. Really original car. Feels a very sensible price given the value of some of the other cars in this auction. It's not inconceivable to see this happily sell, or even someone get quite excited and pay over the odds for it. Lot 155, this Type 2 21 window splitty. I remember my mum went through a phase where the whole family actually wanted one of these when I was 11 years old. We went to see a couple, and even as an 11-year-old boy, I couldn't stand up in the back of one of these. It does feel like, and I'm going to offend some people with this, it does feel it's like a bit more show than go. I mean, given they haven't got much power anyway. It's definitely more show than go, but 60 to 80,000 euros is comparable to what we've seen, bang average price versus prior sales. Lot 156 is a lovely thing. XK120. In this spec is nearing perfection. British Racing Green, those aero screens, 5-speed gearbox. Estimates towards the top end of recent sales, 80 to 120. But with a car that beautiful, I cannot help but think someone is going to be very excited to buy it. It's the kind of car that someone would love to go and buy, rather than the car that they are willing to go and buy. That is someone that is really going to pull at their heartstrings. Lot 157 is this Alpha 2600 Sprint. 40 to 70 on this. It feels slightly punchy, this estimate. Most of the examples we've seen sell recently have sold for 30,000 euros or under. Let's see. It'll be a very good result if RM manages to sell that anywhere near the midpoint of the estimate. Lot 158, this Lagonda M45. Beautiful car, 60 to 90, and very reasonably estimated on the back of that. Lot 159, this Chevy Stingray. C2, first year example, recent engine work. These are probably 75,000 euros on average. This is up for 60 to 90. Estimates right there on the money. Then we've got a series of Bentleys on offer. This is a 3-litre Speed by Van den Pla, 200 to 250, followed by a whole load of other Bentleys. All of these, I would just say, go and see William Metcalf at Vintage Bentley. Get him to take over them. He will know far more than almost anyone in the world about these. If there's a gremlin hiding away inside one of these cars, he'll find it. Just go and speak to him. Make your life easier. Lot 165, this DB2/4 Mark III, 160 to 210 on this. Very early car. It was one of the first 100 produced. British Racing Green over black. It's in need of reconditioning. As such, the estimate does feel strong money for that. Again, I think lower end of the estimate on that one. Lot 166. The big one. Estimated in excess of 13 million euros. 250 Tour de France. A normal Tour de France, if you come down to the price trend, is 4 to 6 million euros on average. So why is this 2 to 3 times what a normal car's worth? For one very simple reason. This is the car that won the 1956 Tour de France. And after winning that race, Ferrari changed the name of the whole model lineup to include Tour de France in the name of the model. RM think it's the only time it's ever happened for a car where they've changed the whole name of the model lineup off the back of such an event. I saw some on Concours events, Pebble Beach no less, came first. If you've got the money to buy a proper car, would you rather spend 70 million euros or $70 million on an Enzo, or buy one of these? I'd pick this every single time. Lot 167 is the 250 GT, 500 to 600 on this. Top end, it's a car with a few unique features. It's often at Concours events in the UK, so fairly well known, but average values in these are around 400,000. 512 TR. This is a car that's really appreciated. 170 to 230 on this at the moment. Delivered new to Belgium, and these are ticking up very nicely. Again, a sensible estimate from RM on this. Should make that money very happily indeed. Lot 169, Celine S7, the American supercar, 425 to 475. Most of these in America are 550, 600, maybe a little bit over. You are getting this at a discount to what you would pay in the States, and the chances of seeing another one at a car show are very, very minimal indeed. Lot 170 is this 996 GT3 RS, increasingly collectible car again, 230 to 300 on this. And lot 171 would be the first time we have seen a Bugatti Bolide potentially sell at auction. Gooding had one recently, if I remember correctly. That car got withdrawn or wasn't sold. Anyway, it didn't sell with them. And this is up at 4 to 6 million. Lot 171 is this Bugatti Bolide. 4 to 6 million euros on this car. Gooding had one recently and it didn't sell. It was either withdrawn or it wasn't sold. This will be the first time one potentially hammers, and we can see what the market value of them is. You may even be able to take this to Lanzante and go and get it road converted. At the moment, track only, of course, but if you could drive it on the road, quite the thing to do. Lot 172 with this 2.7 RS Touring, and followed again actually by the 173 289 Cobra, both of which estimates are bang on the money compared to what we've seen recently. This Testarossa is a good one. It's an interesting spec on this car. So it's single mirror, obviously I'll buy them on a Specchio. Argento silver over red. It's one of 6 delivered like that. It is strong money though. Most of these are sort of 200,000 odd. The world record is around 330. If this hits towards the top end of its estimate, it will be a new world record for the model. 25th anniversary Countach. 5 to 7 on this car. Low mileage, 3,700 on the clock. Could make that. I wouldn't be surprised if it's more towards the lower end of that estimate. Lot 176, I just don't understand at all. GT2 RS Club Sport. Track only, but yet you're paying 350 to 450 for the car. You could find just as good track cars for a tenth of the price and go and have as much fun and repair it far more easily than you would if you had a shunt in this. Not for me, but estimate is very, very sensible. Another retype towards the end of the catalogue, Series 1 3.8 Roadster, estimated at 150 to 200. First year of production, so flat floor car as well. Estimate-wise, what are we looking at? It is towards the top end of what we've seen for these cars. And again, the market is softening, particularly on the Series 1 E-Type more than any other of the Series 2 or Series 3 cars. Tricky. Lot 178. Alpha 8C 2300, 2 million to 2.5 million euros on this. There is a cool story around this car that when it was in Belgium, I think it was found in a salvage yard by these 2 uni students. And the uni students took it out of the salvage yard and essentially had it as their run around car in Belgium. So they would go to university in this car and had a whole load of fun in it. It's now been taken care of, restored, but 2 to 2.5 million. Whether those young chaps had any idea what it would soon become to be worth or the significance of that car, I don't know. An amazing thing nonetheless. It's younger sibling, or older sibling rather. Older sibling and little sibling at the same time. In many ways that makes sense. Alpha 6C 1750, 1.4 to 1.8, towards the top end of examples that we have seen. Lot 180 is a W188 300S Coupe, 270 to 300 on this. Reasonably estimated, this car is got that lovely combination where the exterior is very well presented, but the interior has a lovely patina to it. That juxtaposition for me works super well. 356C cab. A normal one of these is 150,000 and under. Why is this at 500,000 to 700,000? Simply that word Carrera. What does that give you? It gives you an upgraded engine, but it also gives you extreme rarity. They made 3,000 odd 356C cabs. They only made 30 in the Carrera form. There's a whole load of other upgrades that you get alongside that. Would I pay 3-4 times what a normal car is worth? No. Would someone? Potentially. Interestingly, Gooding had this car for sale previously, estimated at 900,000 to 1.1 million. It didn't sell. RM have taken a far more conservative approach on the estimate here, almost half of what we saw before. Lot 182 is 275 GTB. These cars are getting so much love online. There's a lot of chatter around how undervalued they still remain to be. 2.175 to 2.375 on that one. Lot 183, Porsche roof 150 to 180 on that. Lot 184, another Carrera here up for 350 to 450. Right on the money in terms of the estimate compared to prices we've seen before. This 1984 V8 Volante, lot 185 is up at 150 to 250. Think Series 4, estimates towards the top end of what you would expect for a car like this. 186, this flat nose coupe. 160 to 200, estimates bang on. Interestingly with these cars, when you optioned for the flat nose from factory, it was a $23,000 option. The premium these flat nose cars are trading to the standard cars. If you take that 23,000, adjust it for inflation, it's the same premium. That premium you paid for in the day is the same premium relative to what you would pay in today's money as well. Interesting little nugget. Well, for me it is. Lot 187 is a Citroen SM. These are the most amazing cars. Self-leveling suspension, rain sensing wipers, power steering. This car's up for 90 to 140,000. Most of these, when you look at them, are 50,000 euros and below. This car's had a lot of money spent on it, almost 175,000 euros spent. They're going to recoup some of that, but it just goes to show what you're investing in a car to restore is by no means what that car is going to be worth. Lot 188, this Murcielago R GT. This car, good race history. It won the 2009 Asian Le Mans GT1 championships. You can now use this car on the road. I'll take the 962 over that one for my race car on the road usage. Lot 189, 550 Maranello World Speed Record Edition. 190 to 240. They made 33 of these cars. Estimate is very, very sensible. Bang on average compared to what we've seen before. Lot 190 is 550 GTC, up at 2.2 to 2.6. Again, fairly good history on this car, racing the FIA GT Champs in early 2000s. This era is positioned well for one, interest, and two, increasing things you can go and do with that car. Race series to go and enjoy this car in. I wouldn't be surprised if someone picks that up and goes and have a lot of fun around the world in it. Lot 191, again, an incredibly beautiful car from Ferrari. This Dino 206S is up at 3.8 to 4.2. If you haven't seen it, there's an incredible video from members meeting last year at Goodwood. And this car goes from something like 16th, near enough the back of the grid, all the way through to first in this race. It is a remarkable video. Go and watch it. It's half an hour long, but well worth your time. And if you want to replicate that achievement, 4 million euros is the price to go and pay. 208 GTO, 4.5 to 5.5 million euros. A lot of miles on this, 15,000 miles on this car, far more than the subsequent big 5 Ferraris that we've got coming next. Lot 193 is a incredibly low mileage Ferrari Enzo. 3.8 to 4.2 million is the estimate on this. It's got 286 kilometers on the clock. When you consider that car's been around for, or been alive for 20 years, it's 14 kilometers every single year. Some would say criminal. Some would say a smart investment if you look at what another low mileage Ferrari Enzo sold for a Mecum earlier this month. $17 million that car sold for. That car had a lot of other stuff going for it just beyond the low mileage, but 3.8 to 4.2 in relation to that $17 million sold price of the other Enzo, maybe that's slightly conservative. Lot 194 is this F50, 1,000 miles on the clock, 5.5 to 6.5 million on this. These have appreciated massively as well. Lot 195 of this Ferrari 488 GTE is up at 2.8 to 4 million euros. If you can go and run that car and compete in it, you could have a lot of fun. Make sure you've got the funds to run it though. Lot 196 is another roof, 380 to 420 on that. And final lot of the auction is a 400i manual, 80 to 120,000 on that. I think these are aging incredibly well. They're actually going to come more into fashion than they even are at the moment. Price is strong, but it is a manual rather than the automatic. So there we have it. RM's Paris auction, 77 lots, almost 100 million euros of cars. Maybe something takes your fancy, maybe it doesn't. Either way, let me know down in the comments below. If you like this video format, we'll go and do more of it. Peace.